Yo, what is going on, everybody? It is Brave Cat here once again with another Frontier Signals update, and here to just kind of run the gauntlet between the updates on the website and a little bit of what's been going on with the world. So, as you might notice, made some more cosmetic changes. I'm very happy with how this is looking here. It really started with me seeing how terrible these sliders were, which, okay, it's being a little bit laggy right now. It was not doing this earlier. Uh-oh. Okay, that's not showing up. Alright, maybe something broke. Okay, that still works. Interesting. You know, there might just be too much stuff going on my computer right now, but that's, you know, that's whatever. So let me just kind of run through some of the things I've done here, and then I'll kind of, well, there is actually some really cool stuff I need to show you regarding, yeah, my computer, I think I have way too many things going on here. But Dutchsinse made a video yesterday. He's made a couple videos lately, which is fantastic, but also usually when Dutch makes a video, means there's some shit going down. So, okay, there's nothing like, you know, there's no mega quake forecast, which is good. But this here is a banger video. If anyone is even remotely interested in geology, seismology, and also just general conspiracy stuff, I mean, the amount of things this dude covers and goes into is just, it's just spectacular. And so I actually made a pretty good post covering just that video over on solarkillshot.org. So, you know, if you want to join that and see some of the broader scope of what I've really been doing in the past couple years, well, you can go there. It is a small subscription, but it really is catered towards some of the more hardcore preppers and people that are really looking to make survival communities that aren't just off-grid, that aren't just homesteads. Survival groups that include all of the frontier science that I like to cover here, namely some of the more, you know, space weather related things, but that's kind of what that place is all about. And I don't regret subscribing to that and being part of that community. I think it's fantastic, and you know, we're doing a lot of work over there. But anyways, on to this stuff here. So like I said, I made things look a little better. I made these sliders a bit more functional, and look at this. I found basically, you know, a complete volcano data set that is compatible with this map. So, okay, it's kind of ridiculous. Let's just turn off the earthquakes, and so it's in these cluster marker things, so you have to zoom in and they'll slowly pop up, because if you have every single volcano displaying at the same time, yeah, it's not so good. Even it's still struggling. So, you know, there might be probably some more optimizations that I need to make here. I think that's my biggest hurdle right now, is optimization, because yeah, that's this web page is getting a little bit extreme, not gonna lie. And I think part of that optimization, I might need to add more pages, because right now all of these other pages have basically nothing on them. Like, it takes zero effort to load these pages, but the main page the main page with everything on it, yeah, it's really starting to struggle. And there's only so much optimization that I can do. So I might start thinking about having separate pages for like space weather, volcanism, other things. You know, I could have this map here on a completely separate page. Yeah, I'm starting to think I might need to go that route, because having every single feed on one singular page, and I'm not even close to done yet. Yeah, it's getting kind of ridiculous. So especially if I want this to be friendly on mobile, which I do. I do want this to work on mobile. And so, you know, I've already done some things to help that out. But until I get this fully hosted somewhere, I'm not even going to be able to test those features on mobile. So, you know, there's still a lot of things that need to happen. Hopefully my mic is okay. I think it is. I'm just looking at OBS and it looks like the audio keeps peaking. Yeah, hopefully it's not too bad. In fact, I'll just review the footage later. I mean, I have not put any effort in editing these videos. I literally just do them in all one singular take. Because I just really, I mean, there's so much going on. I can't be bothered to even edit a video right now. Unless it's like a small edit, unless it's crucial, unless I need to. So again, check this video out. I'll go through some of the, I guess, kind of critical forecasting, because again, Dutch is all about frontier level forecasting that mainstream will never admit. And on his last round of forecasting, every single zone as far as the US goes was hit to the T. I mean, he forecasted the earthquakes going along the entire plate pretty much perfectly. And his next round of forecasting, I'll just kind of, you know, give, I guess, not even the cliff notes, but just, I guess, a couple mentions here. So we're looking at the Philippines, north to central Philippines, for up to a 7. So yeah, Philippines is about to potentially get hit with something major again, which is not good. You know I don't have any reach or any, you know, real viewership, but as Dutch would say, have an earthquake plan. That being said, California is going to have some more activity as well, including potentially around the Bay Area, I think is what he said. This is the only one I'm not entirely sure about. If we go back here, we have these, you know, the fours that happened down here, and we have the fours that happened up here. And what's right in the middle of those is the Bay Area. So, you know, and that's only going to be maybe like 4.0 activity. And then, let's see, he said up to a 6. He's looking for a 6. Right around on the edge of, right around here, at the border of Nevada and California. I think he said it was the, what was it? I have to go here. It was the Long Valley Caldera. This is where Dutch is expecting potentially a 6.0 earthquake to strike on the border between Nevada and California. So I mean, that is definitely very significant. It's nothing insane, but you know, I believe in him. Let's see, I think, well, okay. And the other kind of major forecasting areas was for the East Pacific, as well as South America. So, you know, I'm using his overlay. And so he was calling for potentially 5s to be striking on these arrows. And that pressure is moving in. So he was calling for 5s on the coast. So like we're looking at Colombia and Chile. And then in the middle of those 2 points, he was saying to expect about something like a 6 in the middle here. So, you know, I'm just the messenger. I'm just another person trying to glue these things together. And of course, you know, we can't discount space weather, because that heavily influences things. So let's take a little bit of a look at that. Again, it looks like we've kind of been on the downtrend. However, we did hit a little bit of a minor solar storm here. You know, it's not really perfectly reflected on these graphs, but, you know, it's not terrible. So again, I think this is really what's taking up probably half of the bandwidth trying to load. But this map is also starting to become quite resource intensive. And so, yeah, again, there's a lot of optimizations that need to happen. But I think it's really not that big of a deal as long as I solve those issues. I think we can have an all-in-one dashboard capable of running on, you know, lower-end devices, potentially even mobile. I know, like, look, when it comes to things like this, don't expect this website to be very good on mobile. All right, if you really want to, you know, when this is actually live, if you actually want to access this on mobile, don't be surprised if it runs like crap. Just saying. So we have all the other angstroms here, and, you know, I'm still glad these ones at the top are the ones that I have loaded first. Oh man, come on. Yeah, this is running very poorly. And I have a whole bunch of stuff running. I think, oh, you know what it is? It's this. Hold up. Hold up. I think this is what's screwing everything up. So, I mean, this is just kind of tracking the weather, the storms, the wind currents, and just look. I mean, it can't even load properly. So I'm just going to get rid of that. It's not even going to let me get rid of it. Come on. Get it out of here. I think that's what's doing all the damage. I am not editing anything. This is just... we're just going. Okay, we're just going. Okay, I think maybe... yeah, okay. That definitely fixed it. For the most part. This still doesn't want to load. That's not the right one. So, let's see. I haven't really been looking at this today. I did watch Ben's video this morning. But I'm not gonna lie, you know, it's almost 7 o'clock now, and I've kind of, my Zoomer brain has kind of totally forgotten half of the things that I even witnessed today. That's interesting. I'm just kind of replaying that, because if you see down here, there's like, it's almost like the sun's equivalent of a dust devil. I mean, this is probably like dozens of Jupiters right here in diameter, or circumference rather. You know, like 20 Jupiters in size of a dust devil on the sun. It looks kind of cool. But, you know, other than that, you know, let's take a look at the sunspots down here. Oh, that's not even loading either. I guess I'll just take a look at the full resolution image. Okay, it's just not going to load. It's like a fax machine. All right, here we go. So, you know, we got quite a few sunspots all across the way here. But they don't look too dangerous, you know, they're not too big of a deal. You know, they look pretty well balanced. They don't look too complicated there, so that's good. On the oncoming side, doesn't look like there's a whole lot over there either. So even though there is a lot of sunspots, it really doesn't look so bad. And then, okay, we got this stuff loading in. I've got a couple more things I can put down here. But yeah, it's looking pretty chill. It's looking pretty chill. If we... Oh man, my computer's just not doing good right now. Probably need to restart it. That would probably help. But looking at the tremor map here, it's kind of decreased. Same spots being moved. And then, you know, just looking at the volcanoes. Let's see, this is already going into tomorrow. Kind of the same stuff it looks like. Again, I haven't looked into this, but it's here, you know. If something really crazy was going on, I probably would know about it. So, and then, okay, we take a look at Italy. Haven't looked at this, but, you know, it looks, okay, yep, see, this definitely reflects the activity. So, you know, okay. We've had, like I mentioned yesterday, the 6.0 earthquakes pretty much equidistantly all around the West and North Pacific. So we got a 6 down here. We got a 6 over here south of Japan on the Japan volcanic islands. We have a 6 that happened Kamchatka. I think that's the most recent 6. And then we had the 6 over here. And then we have 5s. We have 5s going perfectly in between all of these 6s. And then out from those 5s, because we've had... Well, see, you know, the feeds that I have aren't perfect, but we have 5s over here. And then that means we've had 4s spread out from those 5s going all throughout Europe. So if we just take this down a little bit more here, you know, we can see, like, this is, I mean, for Europe, like, this is pretty significant. Hold on. I need to turn that music down just a little bit. Again, kind of using Western Turkey as our temperature gauge for seismology in Europe. It has totally flared up. I mean, we just have 4s and 3s stacked on top of each other, and that pressure is going throughout Europe. Even up here, especially, all that pressure is going out. And then even as far as the United States goes, again, another thing that he mentioned in this video, let's see. Yeah, he mentioned it right around here, talking about the US, and this is something that he's observed for like 15 years, that mainstream and professional, well, quote-unquote professionals, still won't admit. Alright, just look at this. So on the east, northeast, we have 1s, we have 2s, we have little earthquakes, and then we got, you know, some upper range 2 there. We got a 3.8, which is really more like a 4, 4.5. And then, you know, we have more 2s going into these 3s, 4s, and then the bigger activity. And that's what happens, you know, it's a standing wave that goes across the entire plate, following the New Madrid zone, following the entire craton. So it starts out over here. I mean, it really starts out, I mean, there's a lot going on. And then, you know, it goes from 6s to 5s to 4s to 3s to 2s. And it just follows the entire way. And, you know, listening to how this works from someone like Dutch, it makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense. And yet, yeah, no, the USGS, the professionals, whoever, they completely discredit those theories entirely. They don't give it any merit. They have completely censored him threatened him, everything like that. So yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, you know. So anyways, we've had some rare earthquakes. So this one up here, I think this is up in Alberta. You know, again, we have 4.0 activity, basically moving the entire western and northwestern coast, including this one coming out of Utah, which if you click on it, look, it's going to say Wyoming. I mean, this is easily, you know, miles within the Utah border, and yet they're going to say that it came out of Utah. Same thing if you go down here to these, well, let's see. These quakes coming out of Texas. This is clearly in Texas. This is not in New Mexico. And yet, you know, they're going to skew the data. So, you know, that's what we're fighting. I mean, if you think corruption is bad in politics, just look at the scientific field. All right, the corruption is just as bad over here as it is in politics. And when you go even deeper, the corruption from both of those things stem for the same reasons and stem from the same corrupt sources. So, you know, it's all connected, even as far as the eye can see. You know, I'm not even going to go into it right now. I think I've pretty much covered what I want to cover here. And, you know, right now I'm just really trying to get this thing in a place where it can potentially be hosted as a server, as a website. So anyways, that'll be it. Oh, see, now it's working. Oh, now the map is broken. Okay. Well, anyways, that'll do it for today. So I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll catch you all in the next one.